All right, hi guys. So today's lesson is going to move on from finding books specifically to finding reference resources. So reference resources are things that can give you a baseline knowledge of topic, background knowledge. They can give you really good information on things like keywords and topic development, and are things that you should know how to find and utilize properly. So what specifically are reference resources? Well, we have a lovely PowerPoint, just so you know. There we go. All right, so reference resources are materials that provide answers to specific questions. So these are things that you're going to find facts, statistics, technical instructions within, that you're looking at them with a specific purpose of gaining a very specific piece of knowledge. They also provide, like I said before, background information. So this is something that if you are unsure about what a subject or a topic is, looking at reference resources gives you this good overview of what is this about. They can also provide you with additional resources that lots of times when I teach students to use reference resources, I teach them to use them as a springboard into finding other resources, that it tells you about what the topic is, it gives you some good keywords for search terms, but they can also provide you with specific resources. So you're looking at things like bibliographies are considered reference resources. These type of materials are designed to be consulted, not read all the way through. So this is a time to where you're going to pick up a reference resource, read one specific section, which is typically at most a few pages. You're not going to read the entire volume or book. So reference resources typically are what people think of as books, but they can also be serials, so that they are things that come out periodically and are regularly updated every year or every few months. They can also be online databases or things that you're going to find through the web. Generally, these are organized as either general sources that cover information on a wide variety of topics, or they're very subject related, specialized, that it's a reference resource on one particular topic. And you definitely see more specialized reference resources when you're looking at academic level ones. When you're looking at the things the university libraries buy, you're typically looking at those subject and topic specific reference resources. How these are arranged, they're typically arranged either alphabetically, topically, or chronologically, so they're going in order of date of things that happen. So because these are meant to be referenced and consulted, not read all the way through, they are organized so in a manner that you are able to quickly flip through the book or the database and find exactly what you're looking for, that you don't need to sit there and read chapter after chapter to find that piece of info. It's meant to be able to lead you directly to that source. So look for typically a table of contents if you're unsure of how something is organized. You also might want to look for an index. And so if you've never really seen this before, indexes are a list of terms typically found at the back of a book. I'm willing to bet a lot of your textbooks have indexes. And these are then telling you, okay, this term is found on this specific page. So that way you can go directly to where that topic is located. So that's a really easy way to sort through these type of resources. Now, you have about 5 or 6 really specific type of reference resources that you're going to see most often when you're looking at academic and library level reference resource. First up is an almanac. Almanacs are compilations of facts and statistics. Typically, they're one volume, but these are things that often come out in serials so that they are updated yearly or every other year or something like that. Example of this you might be familiar with, Old Farmer's Almanac. You may have seen those. Guinness Book of World Records is considered an almanac that is giving you the list of who owns the world records for these random things, that this is updated every year. Some other ones we have in our collection, the Almanac of American Education from 2014 to 2015, African American Almanac for the past 400 years. So they're giving you statistics about African American history and stuff like that. So these types of resources, they can contain informative entries on topics and as well as bibliography. So they're giving you the basic info as well as a little bit of information about what it's about. Next is something you should be familiar with right now is a bibliography, which is a collection of sources on a specific topic. You do see these officially published within academic resources of what are the best resources that have been published within the past year or within the past 10 years on a particular topic. So the purpose of these is they are officially meant to lead you to other sources. You do often get annotations with these, that most of published bibliographies that you're finding within library resources have some sort of annotation that's going to include a brief description or summary of the items. These type of resources can be comprehensive, meaning they're trying to bring you everything that's been published and is valuable on this topic, but more frequently they are selective. So instead of bringing you everything, they're trying to bring you the best resources on that specific topic. So some examples we have in our library collection is the Bedford Bibliography of Teachers of Writing, Annotated Bibliography of Guitar Methods between the 1760s to 1860, Bibliography of English Etymology, Health Work, and Annotated Bibliography. So you see a wide variety of topics published academically. It's also very common to see academic bibliographies being published by libraries and other resources, and these are things you can freely find online, so you can find those through Google and stuff like that. Bibliographies meant to lead you to other resources on the topic. Moving past bibliography is biographical resources. So it brings you biographical information about individuals, brings you information about a person and their life and their work and what they were famous for and why we want to know about them. So normally about notable people in a certain demographic or a profession. And so you can have individual books that are biographies, and that's what most people are familiar with, but you also get collections of biographies to where instead of having a whole book about a person's life, they're going to give you a small chapter or just a few pages about why is this person important. Some really famous biographical sources for libraries, one of which is Contemporary Authors. And so this is a series that it's multi-volume work, comes out every few years, is bringing you background of contemporary authors and who they are and what they wrote and why they are important. Other ones we have in our collection, the International Authors and Writers Who's Who, American National Biography, so we'll be talking about important Americans and their work, African American National Biography, so important people who are African American descent, a Dictionary of Irish Biography, so listing people who were important in Irish history. So you're seeing most of these are kind of being limited by a specific place or type or profession or something like that. So who are the important people within that? Looking within these, if you're looking for biographical data about who a person is, many times instead of seeing an entire book on that person, those can be very valuable. Lots of times, though, you do see very specific chapters. I think we have a history of math course here that if you are a math major, it's one of the 4,000 level courses you're required to take. And so they come to the library every year and I help them find resources on important mathematicians throughout histories. Lots of times they get entire books on these mathematicians, but many times we have a couple of biography books that it's important mathematician throughout time or important female mathematicians or something like that, to where you're getting a chapter on a specific person. So those are very frequent for biographical resources. All right, next is something you're probably very familiar with, which is a dictionary. If you don't know already, a dictionary defines terms. So it gives definitions of terms, either general or in relation to a specific subject or discipline. So most people are very familiar with language and linguistic dictionaries, such as the Oxford English Dictionary, Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary, to where you're getting the word and what it means. What you see more with academic resources is you definitely see those, and if you're looking for a language dictionary, I think I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, the most prestigious dictionary for English language is the Oxford English Dictionary, which we do have access to in print and online within our library. But more frequently for research, students tend to use subject-specific dictionaries. So some examples of those that we have, the New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians. So who are these people? What did they do? The APA College Dictionary of Psychology. So what are terms within the fields of psychology do you need to know? Dictionary of Toxicology. This would be something nursing students would use. You often see drug dictionaries published and used by nursing and health professionals of what is this drug? What does it do? How does it interact with other drugs? And so those are very important for some of our clinicals, to where students are actually going out and working with patients, that they reference those a lot because it's impossible to remember everything. And so these are quick reference guides to the drugs that are most frequently used and how they interact with the body and with patients and with other drugs. So you can get very basic level definitions, but many times subject-specific dictionaries can contain very in-depth descriptions and informations. So that New Grove Dictionary of Music and Musicians, that's not just going to give you that this person played this song and was famous for that. It's going to give you a very in-depth description of who that musician was, why are they famous, what are they known for, how do they contribute to their genre of music, etc. So it's very close to biographical info for New Grove with that one. So they can contain much more in-depth descriptions than just kind of the one-line thing that you're used to with language dictionaries. Finally, you get what people think of most when they hear the type reference resource, and that's an encyclopedia. So encyclopedia is a comprehensive summary of factual information, providing more detail than a dictionary or an almanac. Most people are familiar with general encyclopedias, such as Britannica or World Book. Once again, what you see with academic resources are very in-depth subject-specific encyclopedias. So some examples, we have the Encyclopedia of Crime and Punishment, Alternative Energy and Shale Gas Encyclopedia, Encyclopedia of Pop Music Aliases from 1950 to 2000. So you're getting these very kind of subject-specific overviews of a particular topic. So very good information. Subject-specific encyclopedias are not going to just give you a paragraph. They're typically going to give you pages of info, of background information. And so this is what's really helpful for students of getting that good background info. You also many times see citations within these encyclopedias, or for further reading or suggested sources. So they're giving you their own mini bibliography of things to look at. So many times encyclopedias, particularly academic level subject encyclopedias, contain references to other resources. So this is where you can use that as a springboard to find more information. Finally, you have what we call handbooks. And many times students don't like to think of these as reference resources, but a handbook is a concise explanatory information on a topic. So they provide facts, terms, concepts, movements, etc. of a specific subject. Some examples we have include the Handbook of North American Indians. So it's giving you over of what are different native tribes within the North America and their background and history. So you also have a guide to Alaska trees, words and ideas, a handbook for college writing, mathematical formulas, the MLA handbook for writers of research papers. So if you're using the MLA citation style, or we're using APA for our class, that is a specific handbook that's telling you this is how you write according to this style. This is how you write. This is how you create citations according to this style. Nursing 2016 Drug Handbook, Routledge Handbook of Sports Marketing. So these are giving you good directions on how to do things within a specific subject area. Very helpful, can be good references, can be good foundational sources for research. So that wraps up our slideshow for what are reference resources. Watch the next video and I'm going to show you how to find these in the library.